review this.
Great, thank you very much. And again, thank you for everyone attending today. It looks like we have a great crowd. That's terrific, especially in the summer months. Today, we're going to talk about enterprise agility, enhancing enterprise agility in the modern business landscape. And it's hosted today or facilitated by Dr. Jacques Alexis and myself, John Bleakney, both of whom are from Northeastern University. In today's agenda, we're going to look at an introduction to enterprise agility. We're going to discuss the importance of it. We're also going to look at those key elements. We're going to also look at building an agile enterprise and take a look at an enterprise as well. And there will be like a case study or some questions there. And we will also have a Q&A session. If you have any comments, questions, please use a chat or just interrupt us and say, I have a question, and we'll be more than happy to address it. So please do not be shy. We want to make sure that this is a discussion not between me and Jacques, but also with all the people attending. All right. So what is bear with me. So what is the enterprise agility? All right. So we look here as enterprise agility refers to an organization's ability to, as they say, swiftly adapt to market and environmental changes in both an efficient and effective manner. It also encompasses the capability to foresee those changes in the business landscape and the architect, and to adapt the organizational structure so that it can respond in an effective manner and quickly. Finally, another definition is the ability to compete and thrive in the digital age by quickly responding to market changes in emerging opportunities with innovative business solutions. And you can see, even though there are differences between these definitions of agility, they all emphasize the speed and the flexibility as the primary attributes of an agile organization. Again, when we talk about waterfall versus agile, one of the benefits of agile is this swiftly changing piece. And you can see it from this slide, how true that is with the different definitions.
So we do have a poll questions, John. I can launch it.
Oh, please do, yes. So here is the poll: is which of the following industries do you believe was the origin of the concept of enterprise agility?
We 15, 16 people have already answered the poll. That's we have 16 answers. So we're going to give it another minute, maybe. Well, now 17, 18, very good.
And don't be shy answering. We don't know who's answering what.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, this is very informal. If you're students, this is not graded, so don't worry. We have 20 responses out of 30. Okay. Can you see the poll result, John?
I can see the poll results. Should I end the polls for us to see? I think that's how it works. Or if I hit, well, let's take a look. Right now we have 20 people responding, and I know the answer because, you know, help prepare this. But originally I thought it was software development. That's what I talk about when I talk about my class. We talk about Agile and sprints. We always talk about software development. But no, the correct answer is actually manufacturing.
Yeah, this is quite interesting, actually. So
this is what people said right here for the results.
Yeah, that's for only, well, I believe 18 of the respondents believe that it's manufacturing. And you are right. So the idea right now, the way it is when we talk about agility, everyone think about the software, about software development. But in truth, in the 1970s, 1980s, it all started in the manufacturing industry. Yeah, quite interesting. Okay.
It's very, very interesting.
So,
and then project management overall, we believe you talk about the military. So the top software development was, people believe was the, creating the Agile methodology, then military and defense, which maybe project management overall. And it's really the manufacturing industry that really started the Agile, or concept of enterprise agility. Well, should I move to the next slide, or should I still talk here, Jacques?
Yes, unless we have questions or comments, we are ready to go. I don't see anything in the chat, so we all set.
Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So this is the brief history and evolution. So do you want me to take this, Jacques, or do you want to?
Yes, I think this one is yours, John.
Perfect.
Yes.
Now, the evolution of the term enterprise agility has not followed a linear path at all. All right. So throughout history, scholars have shifted their focus among various business concepts, some of which may hold practical relevance, and others may not. The term enterprise agility has evolved over the decades as a response to the challenges and these opportunities of dynamic and changing environments. Again, agile being change. The concept of agility builds on the previous notions of adaptability and flexibility, which was also aimed at enhancing an organization's ability to adjust and to respond to change. This timeline shows some of the key events and definitions that have shaped the evolution of this term called enterprise agility, right? So you can see in the 1960s, researchers investigated how the organization's form, structure, and degree of formalization influenced its ability to adapt to changing conditions, which is called the adaptivity approach, all right? In the 60s, researchers focused on the organizational flexibility, which is described as the organization's capacity to adjust its internal structures and processes in response to changes in the environment. And this is called the flexibility approach. So we go from organizational adaptivity to the flexibility. Jumping to 1991, the Agility Forum, which is part of the Iacocca Institute at Lehigh University, coined the term agile manufacturing. And this was considered a new solution for managing a dynamic and changing environment. They defined this as a manufacturing system with capabilities to meet the rapid changing needs of the marketplace. And actually, back in 1994, Kidd, an author, or researcher, defined agility as a rapid and proactive adaptation of enterprise elements to unexpected and unpredicted changes. Kidd emphasized the importance of speed, flexibility, responsiveness, and integration in actually achieving agility. So again, speed, flexibility, responsiveness, and integration. Okay. In 1999, another researcher, Ganesh Karan, he defined agile manufacturing as the ability of surviving and prospering in a competitive environment of continuous and unpredictable change by reacting quickly and effectively to changing markets, which is driven by customer-defined products and services. And he highlighted the role of customer satisfaction, quality, and customization in achieving agility. Now, I know we're probably all sick and tired of hearing about COVID-19 and things like that, but you think within the University of Northeastern University, how quickly we changed and adapted from going everything that was in person to everything online, and then changed to a hybrid format, and now we're back to in person again. And anyone knows anything in the higher ed field, sometimes things are slow to change, but in this time it was quickly changing and evolving, so we can stay competitive. In 2007, Shahari, which is another researcher, and his team reviewed existing knowledge about the agile manufacturing and the workplace, and identified the global characteristics of agility, which can be applied to all aspects of this enterprise. Okay? Again, flexibility, responsiveness, speed, and culture of change, and integration and low complexity. Let me start over. What I meant to say is that the global characteristics of agility can be applied to all aspects of the enterprise, which is flexibility, responsiveness, speed, the culture of change, integration, etc. They also point out that the need for further research to empirically establish and validate the attributes and indices of agile workforce and agile enterprise. So what they're basically saying is they looked at the research already out there and agree that this to be in an agile world, you do need to have all those characteristics of being flexible and responsive and speed like that. And that's all part of enterprise agility. And what we're finding is over time, enterprise agility used to be a narrow focus on manufacturing. And what it's now doing is taking a broader perspective, and it's looking at all industries, all aspects. It is not a static concept. It's a dynamic one, and there's constantly changes going on all the time. And enterprises, organizations that can effectively accept and implement these characteristics are going to be quite successful in their business. Anything else I should add, Jacques, or I missed?
Yes, I believe we may have many folks here who actually are very familiar with the Agile Manifesto. Obviously, that's a missing piece that you don't see in this timeline, and many of you may be asking that. It was published for the first time in 2001. And the reason it's not listed here, remember, the Agile Manifesto is specifically for the idea of software development. They specifically talk about software development. But here we are talking about agility from the enterprise level. So that's why you don't actually see this in here. Now, do we have any thing in the chat before we move ahead? Jeffrey had to deal with some business issue, and Van Nat mentioned the Crystal Phase by IBM, 1991-1992. Obviously, we don't include here every contributors. We take a look at who are the people who were the most prominent across the board, where people accept, where there is general agreement that those people actually popularize the idea. For example, if you are in the management field, you probably know Burns and Stalker, the management of innovation, in which he explained the importance of adaptivity. And as you know, innovation is at the center of everything we're talking about here, whether we're talking about product development, project management. We are talking about innovation. So a key contribution of Burns and Stoker is that they believe organically structured organizations are typically more agile because they have flatter structure, right, instead of mechanistic, compared to mechanistic organizations. So they can make decisions more quickly. They have teams, self-managed teams that take care of things. This is exactly what actually Steve Jobs did when he came back to Apple. He broke the company down into smaller, more manageable units. And it was actually a good decision. So that's all I'd like to add here. Okay. So we have all three concepts here. I'm probably going to take this, moving to comparing trends in business management. I think it's very important that we know what people are talking about out there, what people are trying to do. So the three main trends here in businesses, and all of them are thinking about how to integrate technology in their systems, whether we're talking about software applications, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. But those three management systems we're talking about are business resilience, business agility, and business sustainability. So those three concept management systems, they are interconnected, and they contribute to the overall success and longevity of an organization. So while they share some commonalities, they also have distinct focuses and objectives. Many folks may believe that this is purely academic, but I can tell you from practice, what I observe in the consulting industry, they do not implement them the same way. So business agility, we're going to start with that because this is the main topic for the day. So it is the ability, as John said earlier, the ability to adapt, respond, and thrive in a rapidly changing business environment, which is what we're observing today. And John also mentioned that it emphasizes flexibility, innovation, and responsiveness to market shift, customer demands, and emerging opportunities. So if you have an agile enterprise, then you can actually quickly take advantage of emerging opportunities and respond to your customers. So the aim is to foster a proactive and adaptive culture that embraces change, whether we're talking about operational level or strategic level. So business resilience, we had actually a workshop recently, and three of my brilliant colleagues are at the forefront of the business resilience movement. It is, from the way I understand it and the way people are practicing it currently, it is the organization's ability to withstand and recover from disruption, crisis, and adverse events like a flood, for example, or an IT, a hack in your IT system. So it emphasizes the capacity to absorb shocks, adapt quickly, and restore normal operations very quickly. So resilience will focus on maintaining stability and minimizing the impact of disruptions in your business operations. However, my colleagues are pushing the boundaries of business resilience. They're saying, it's not only recovering from crisis, but you can also be proactive in your business resilience system. So it depends on, who's the author or who you ask, because many people associate business resilience with business continuity, and that's it. The third management system and trends in management out there is the idea of business sustainability. So business sustainability encompasses a broader perspective, considering the organization's long-term viability and positive impact on the environment, society, and stakeholders. So here it's going to emphasize responsible practices that balance what we call the triple bottom line, a term coined by John Elkington in the 1990s in his book, Cannibal with Forks. I don't know if you remember that. So it's about balancing economic, social, and environmental considerations. So they see the business to be able to function and be successful while minimizing negative impacts on this different aspect of society and the physical environment. So we could compare these three trends in management using different dimensions. For example, time frame. In terms of time frame, business agility will take a look at both short-term and long-term horizons. It will want to adapt, respond swiftly to changes and opportunities continuously. John mentioned that. Resilience, on the other hand, will focus on short-term disruptions and crisis. It will aim to recover and restore operations promptly, right? And business sustainability will take a long-term perspective, considering the organization's impact and performance over time, and it will aim to create lasting value while preserving resources for future generations. So that's one dimension of those three systems. Or we can take a look at mindset. Now, remember, a lot of you who are Agile practitioners, you talk a lot about the Agile mindset. So from a mindset and approach, agility requires a proactive and adaptive mindset that embraces change, encourages experimentation quickly, and empowers employees to make decisions. So that's one thing to keep in mind. In an agile environment, you are actually encouraged to experiment. Here, you will emphasize innovation, agility, and continuous learning. Learning is actually very important, not only at an individual level, but also at an organizational level. So that's the idea of a learning organizations that we talk about all the time. So from a mindset, business resilience requires a proactive mindset as well, but it's about anticipating risk, preparing for disruptions, and implementing strategies to minimize their impact. So it's about risk assessment, contingency planning, and robust processes within your organization. Sustainability from a mindset perspective will take a holistic mindset that will consider what I talked about earlier, the triple bottom line: economic, social, and environmental impact. So it involves integrating sustainable practices into the organization's strategy, operations, and decision-making processes. So we're talking here about the culture, the fabric of the organizations. Another dimensions could be from a scope perspective. What is the scope of enterprise agility? So enterprise agility focuses on adapting changes in the market, technology, whether we're talking about AI or subset of AI, like machine learning, customer preferences, extremely very important, internal dynamics to seize opportunities and stay competitive. So that's the scope of business agility. The scope of business resilience, it's on really managing and recovering from disruptions. We said that earlier. Natural disasters, economic downturns, like when you have high inflation situation in the economy, and supply chain interruptions, just like the example John talked about, COVID, right? And we're still dealing with that. So resilience, business resilience, actually will help a firm survive this. So the scope of sustainability considers actually the organization's impact on the environment, society, and stakeholders. So here we're talking about environmental stewardship, social responsibility, ethical practices within the organizations at all levels, not just at the bottom, but at all levels, and long-term economic viability. So that's what we are talking about here when we take a look at this aspect of those three management systems. So we can actually move to the next slide. And do we have any questions in the chat, John? No?
I do not see any yet. Nothing yet.
Okay, so let's say why enterprise agility. So if you many of you are studying project management or something related to project management. So at any point you could be called by your current employer or future employer to say, how can you help implement an agile system within this organization. So you should start by asking these key questions. Why? Why agility? What are the benefits for the organization? So enterprise agility has never been more critical than it is today, as we plunge deeper into an era defined by rapid change and unpredictable market shift. This first bullet points on my slide here underscores the significance of being able to swiftly adapt to these market changes. Traditional approaches, the way we used to do things, the old ways of working, with their longer response times, often leave organizations trailing behind the curve. Instead, an agile enterprise, if you can actually build one, is one that can quickly sense, react, and capitalize on changes, not just to survive, but to thrive in their respective markets. So speed, flexibility, and proactive decision-making are the key tenets in this agility centered mindset. So we all know we've heard about the idea of digital transformation, right? So digital transformation isn't just about adopting new technologies. It is about fundamentally reshaping business models to create value, drive growth in the digital era. So this requires businesses to have an agile backbone that allows for the seamless incorporation of new tools and techniques, such as AI, a swift pivot in strategy when required, and the ability to foster an innovative, learning-oriented culture. That's actually very important. So in this context, I believe agility is not merely an option for the modern enterprise. It is a prerequisite for survival and success. So you can say that enterprise agility can serve as a potent competitive advantage in today's disruptive markets. The modern business landscape is rife with disruptions from innovative startups shaking up, traditional industries, to unforeseen global events, triggering market uncertainties. So we have to take all this into considerations right now. And by understanding this environment, this climate, you can actually have a seat at the table and equip your organizations with the ability to nimbly maneuver around obstacles, respond effectively to new challenges, and seize emerging opportunities that can set your organizations apart from the rest. So an agile enterprise is more resilient, innovative, and customer responsive, turning market disruptions into avenues for growth and opportunities. So this is actually quite interesting to me. So I am actually going to invite people, to talk about this and compare those management systems and see how they can benefit their companies. I think we have something in the chat here. What ways can we equip organizations using agility? So we're going to talk about that in a minute. So what is the process actually of doing it? So that's when we're going to talk about some of the tools that we can use to do this, because it's not only talking about it, but it's actually doing it. Now, as project managers, we're going to learn how to do it using a phase gate system. What are the phases and what are the steps that we need to take to help a company, become an agile? So we're going to definitely talk about that. So should we move to the next slide, John?
Sure. There was one other question in the chat. Says, what are some of the characteristics of agility that can help us in this disruptive environment? Oh, want to answer that, or should we hold on?
Actually, this is our next slide, I believe. So the key elements of agility. Some of the so if you say you have an agile enterprise, so your enterprise should have the key elements of enterprise agility: speed, responsiveness, flexibility, and resilience. So as we define them in here in this one. So in the context of enterprise agility, speed refers to the pace at which a business can make decisions, change directions, implement new strategies, and bring products and services to market. Now, remember last month, actually, my friend, Jim Hannon talked about the cost of decision latency, the time it takes you to make decisions. So that's actually very important. And here we see it again, we're talking about it. So this is particularly important in today's fast-paced business environment, the ability to have this speed, to develop it. A high degree of agility will allow your organization to shorten their lead times and get things done more rapidly. So responsiveness is actually very important. It's the ability of your enterprise to respond swiftly to changes in its internal and external environment. Both are important. And the flexibility obviously relates to the organization's capacity to adapt its operation strategies and structures in response to changes of the business environment. Again, we talk about resilience as the ability to withstand and or recover quickly from difficulties or challenges. So these four elements of agility are interconnected. Speed and responsiveness, for example, are necessary for an enterprise to stay competitive and seize opportunities, while flexibility and resilience help an enterprise adapt to changes and recover from disruptions. Together, they enable an enterprise to operate with agility, navigating a fast-paced and constantly changing business environment effectively. Some people like calling it the VUCA environment. So in the next slide, I believe we answer the last question from the chat. I don't know what are some of the characteristics of agility that can help in this disruptive environment. You're looking at them right now. So I would like to have time to go through tools and techniques and skills, but Agile enterprises have several distinguishing characteristics. So that's probably going to answer your questions. And those characteristics will be often manifesting from their commitment to the principles of agility. They are principles of agility. And if you remember the Agile Manifesto, we're not talking about agility from a team level, we're talking about from an enterprise level. So, but you need to be customer focused, characteristic. You need to be adaptive and resilient. You need to have a decentralized decision-making process. Agile enterprises empower their employees to make decisions instead of, top-down approach. Decisions are often made by the teams that are closest to the problem or the tasks at hand. That is one characteristic, and I gave earlier the example of Steve Jobs, and John will walk us through a case to see how a company did it. They do have a collaborative culture. They iterative and incremental in the sense that agile enterprises work in an iterative fashion, delivering work in small, manageable increments. So this allows them to get feedback quickly and adjust as needed. Adjustment, I believe, is another word that we didn't use, but that's actually very important. Take corrective actions, improving the overall quality of the end product. Continuous improvement is actually very important. We can go back and talk about this in detail as time allows. I think there are more important things that we should talk about in this conversation. They embrace technology. Agile enterprises, that's one characteristic. They all embrace technology. They want to know how best to use technology to get the best result. And they are value driven. Agile enterprises focus on delivering value to the customer above all else. They prioritize their work based on what will deliver the most value. And they measure their success based on the value they deliver to customers. Now, that doesn't mean business value isn't important. Absolutely, business value is at the center of it all, but you can create value when you can create business value when we can actually create customer value. Innovation and experimentation. Agile enterprises promote a culture of innovation and experimentation. They understand that some degree of failure is part of the innovation process, and they see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. So by adopting these characteristics within your organizations, you can actually improve your ability to respond quickly and effectively to changes in the business environment, ultimately giving you a competitive advantage. So I'm going to pass this over to my colleague, John. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Quick question, Jacques. It's about 12, we have about 15 minutes left. Should I continue to the slide? Should I focus on the case study?
I think if we can quickly take a look at the case study and open this for
discussions. That would be, a very effective way to do it.
You think that's a good way? Okay, so let me move to the case study. Again, well, let's take a look at this. In order to have to be successful in an agile enterprise, people need to have an agile mindset, leadership, workforce, processes, and technology. So if you are flexible and adaptable and have this type of mindset, you're going to be very flexible in this type of environment. Let's take a look at this case study. Oops. I think there's a question. There was a question, Jacques, that says, is agile management and agile agility enterprise, are they the same? I would think management will be part of the whole enterprise system. Would that be accurate?
What is?
It says, in the chat, there's a question that says, is agile management and agile agility enterprise both the same?
Agile agility. I'm not quite sure I understand the different part, or probably agile management and agile enterprise. Are they the same? Obviously, they are interrelated. So the reason for that, an agile enterprise will have an agile management system. So the management system you have, the way you do things, the way you seek effectiveness, efficiency, the way you work as part of teams will be part of the management system and will be part of the agile enterprise. So they're not the same, but they are definitely related concept.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
All right, so here is our case study. So ING Bank embarked on an agile transformation back in 2015, and they were inspired by the success of digital native companies like Spotify and Netflix. Just move my screen. The bank reorganized its traditional hierarchy into a network of more than 350 cross-functional squads, grouped them into tribes, chapters, and centers of expertise. The squads were empowered to make decisions and deliver value to the customers, while the tribes and chapters provided alignment and coordination. The centers of expertise supported the squads with specialized skills and knowledge. The bank also invested in agile leadership development, agile coaching, agile performance management, and agile IT infrastructure. As a result of this transformation, ING Bank improved its customer satisfaction, employee engagement, time to market, innovation, and profitability. It looks like it was quite a success with this new way of doing things. So based on this case, there are some questions that we like to ask the group. One of which would be, how does this case differ from your knowledge of agile principles? If you are a leader, that's one question.
That's right. If you are familiar with the common agile frameworks out there, I know we were supposed to talk about DAD, SAFe, etc. We can't obviously talk about all of them, but we wanted to talk about the methodologies that can, scale or be scaled to the enterprise level. And SAFe and DAD are just couple of examples here. So based on what you're reading here, how does this differ? The way they break down the bank, how does it differ from your knowledge of Agile? Do you understand? Are you familiar with the language? So the floor is open now for discussion. We can then talk about others later. So let's see. Do you have anything? What was the time frame for the transformation? So this actually was done of a 10-year period, at least from the time they started. As you can see here, that's actually very interesting question. creating an agile enterprise is not something you can do overnight. You have to pace yourself, right? It takes time, just like implementing and creating a quality company, developing a quality culture. Developing an agile enterprise will take time. So it doesn't happen overnight. And when we talk about implementation, we should take a phase-based approach to it. We start by understanding, why we're doing this, what is it exactly we're looking for, and start with a planning phase. That should be the next phase, and then we pilot it. We don't scale, overnight. We pilot it in different departments. Maybe we choose a department. So we have some tools, simple checklists that ask, leadership questions from what they expect to what methodology that we're going to choose. Should we create our own methodology, or should we, take something from the shelf? So that's according to the bank, it took them about 10 years to reach where they wanted to go. And today they are one of the most profitable banks in Europe.
There is a question that says, what are types of agile methodologies, and can 2 or more methodologies of agile be implemented in a hybrid environment?
So what I've seen in successful companies is consistency. Consistency in the sense that they do not want different teams to be using different methodologies, because that's going to be a problem. It's going to create confusion. It's going to be very difficult to compare success across projects. So if we are using the same agile methodologies, then we can work together, we can collaborate, we understand, we speak the same language. The recommendation from the best and the most known folks in the industry, they recommend consistency in methodology. A hybrid means that you mix your agile practices with some waterfall principles. So that's not going to be a problem, but the idea is not choosing different methodologies across teams, is to have all your teams use the same agile methodology. That's the recommendation.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions, but do people, oh wait, there's another comment. A question came, if Ing started in 2015 and the transformation has taken about 10 years, it's not complete yet in 2023, correct? Or did it start, do we think? So it's not complete yet, do you think?
Yeah, so they formally started this in 2015, according to the case. This is a case from McKinsey and Company, and they still in this journey of agile transformation. So it is an iterative process. Is it going to be complete? It's definitely it's a continuous process. You don't say, well, we're done being agile now. We have to sustain it. We have to maintain it. It's a continuous process, absolutely. And 2015 to now, it's a little bit less than 10 years, but it's how long it takes them to see the result of the system.
And it appears already that even in this approach, even though it's not complete, there are already positive results being made.
Yes. what changes were made. And as you can see quickly here in the short case, is that they used to have a company that was divided by functions, just like everyone else. They had, the product development functions. They have regulatory, legal divide. They divided the company into certain just by functions, like everyone else. Now they broke it down, as you can see, into squads, chapters, and other systems, centers of expertise, to give people more flexibility to focus on what they're supposed to focus, make decisions very quickly. So that's one of the things they actually did. So here, what's challenges, current challenges? Current challenges I can't tell you because I don't work for ING, and I can't tell you what are they currently facing. But what I can tell you is what they face over time. Over time, just like most companies, many folks at all levels, some people didn't understand the importance of it. They didn't think the change was necessary. People were confused, and they felt like they needed to go to all these trainings. It's like people felt they were starting off. The same ideas of resistance you have when you try to implement something. Obviously, everything has a learning curve. They had to go through this as well. But this is a common case that we use in the consulting industry, particularly when we talk about agility. Yes.
It is 12:56 right now. Do we have one more question or comments? Let's see.
Obviously, this is a very interesting conversations. We have a lot of folks that asking questions, very interesting questions here. So that's very good. Laura, actually, would you like to speak and share your opinions and views on your experience? You seem to have a lot of interesting questions here and comments.
That's interesting. Yes, I've seen transformations succeed, and I've seen them not succeed. I won't say fail, but not necessarily succeed fully,
Yes.
and still obviously continue to transform. I've seen staffing changes because I view agile transformations as psychological and emotional transformations as well. There are some people that just for whatever reasons, do not want to or can't adjust to an agile mindset. And they want to stay in more of the traditional project management roles and be told what to do, as opposed to being part of the decision-making teams, that enablement, that really I guess more of that enablement mindset. And I'm curious as to whether, because I've seen middle management and staffing changes at those levels happen, where leadership will say, well, you're not adjusting, we'll let you go, or we'll move you elsewhere in the organization that isn't yet going through the transformation. I'm curious as to whether some of those upper levels have also been unable, if you've seen, and especially in this case study, if you've seen examples where the upper levels in the hierarchy have also been able to adjust to the mindset, and they've either been moved elsewhere in the organization or also been let go because of that psychological, and I'll say emotional, mindset change that is necessary to transform and adjust to the enterprise agility or just agility mindset.
This is actually very interesting. And I haven't seen it in this particular case, but I've definitely seen it in other areas where companies were trying to implement change. The next slide we were going to talk about is exactly what you're saying right here. We can share presentations, PDF versions, we're going to send it out. The failure of adopting an agile mindset is actually one of the key barriers to the agile transformation from an enterprise level. And I believe also at the team level, this is real, and you are on spot here, really. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, it is 1 o'clock. I value everybody's time. Jacques and I would like to thank you all for coming this month. We hope to see you in July, where we have Donna Gregorio talking about your North Star, 5 do's and don'ts for roadmaps and prioritization. I believe this is a presentation that she provided back at the PMI National Conference last year in November or December. If you have any questions, if you want to see us, think of some ideas to present, please reach out directly to Jacques and I.
Absolutely. And if you are a certified project management professional, the PDU for this is 1 PDU. And in the category of business acumen, John, I believe.
Business acumen, right? Yeah.
Yes. That's good. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.